UFC is more extreme because it's really just the UFC.
Yeah.
It's really, I mean, even Francis Ngannou, right? Francis Ngannou, one of the most devastating fighters to ever compete in MMA, UFC heavyweight champion. They couldn't get a deal signed, and he winds up leaving and goes to the PFL. But nobody's watching.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody watches. Nobody cares. He knocked out some dude in the PFL, and nobody cared.
Is he making more money?
Yes.
He cares.
He cares. Well, that's why he did it.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
A great deal with the PFL, and then he got to box. Boxed Tyson Fury, boxed Anthony Joshua.
Doing well.
Doing well. Much, much more money, for sure.
Doing well.
Which is good, but the fortunate and unfortunate. Fortunate that the UFC is the best promotional organization that's ever existed. They really know how to do it. They do it right. They make stars out of these fighters. They give them all these opportunities. They get the most asses in the seats. Every pay-per-view sells well. When there's a UFC pay-per-view, people line up to see it. There's a bunch of stars in the UFC. But unfortunately, when they're in other organizations, even if they're getting paid more, nobody knows who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they want to come to the UFC, they have to take a pay cut, which is crazy. So you're leaving an organization. Like, if you're going from small promotions in boxing, and then all of a sudden you're in a world title fight, and you're in Golden Boy Promotions, you would imagine, now I'm getting paid more money, more people are watching me. But it's not the case. Like, these other organizations, like the PFL, have to pay these guys more money because otherwise they can't get them at all. Because everybody wants to fight in the UFC. It's not a monopoly because there is other options. There's ONE FC, there's PFL, there's some organizations in Russia and other parts of the world. But the reality is, it's like the NFL or like, Q-tips. It's like, it's got a name. It's the NBA. Nobody wants to watch some new basketball organization. Nobody wants to watch the XFL. Do people watch it? I don't know. But it's not the Super Bowl. It's like there's one big organization. That's the NFL. There's one big MMA organization. That's the UFC. And for these guys that want the glory, they want to be known as the best in the world, there's one place to be. So it's very difficult for those guys to hold out for more money.
It goes back to identity and what you're doing it for.
Right.
That's what you got to ask yourself. Is you doing it for fame? Is you doing it to provide stability for your family? Is it, I need money? Like, what is
legacy.
You doing it for? Yeah, definitely legacy.
For the greats of the greats, legacy is the primary focus, almost always. Greatness is always the primary focus because otherwise you never achieve greatness. Mm-hmm. If you're just thinking about money, I don't think those guys ever get to the level that you're at or the level that like the elite of the elite get. I think those guys have to have their eye on being the number one dog, period.
Facts. That's why I asked, what is you doing it for? Because Ngannou, he's already famous.
Right.
He probably like, okay, well,
yes,
if y'all gonna pay me X amount over here and they only gonna pay me this, then it makes business sense to go over here.
Yes.
And that's just like Conor Benn. Mm-hmm. He just signed with Zuffa. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people was saying he's disloyal and Eddie Hearns now was loyal to him and this and that and this.
He's getting $15 million for his next
I'm
fight.
like, man, what is people talking about?
Right.
I said, it's just business. It ain't personal with them, I bet. I said, Conor Benn did what was best for him and his family. I said, just like the promotional company's going to do what's best for them and their business. If a fighter that they sign lose probably 2 straight, they get to cut him. No questions asked. Why? Because now they wasting money, they feel. They don't care about that person's family. They don't care about that person, relationship with them. They not going in there with their heart like, oh, man, like you a good buddy. They like, sorry, it's just business. Cut you.
Yep.
So when a fighter does the same thing that a promotional company do or a manager or anybody else, it's all you disloyal, you this, you that. I'm like, Make it make
silly.
sense.
It doesn't make any sense in boxing, because in boxing there's so many promoters.
Yeah.
There's so many different people. There's Eddie Hearn, there's Bob Arum. There's so many different promoters.
Yeah.
Don King. There's so many different promoters.
Right.
That's the beauty of boxing, is that there's a lot of competition, and there's a lot of people that are there to try to get you over onto their side. And there's cross promotion. There's no cross promotion in MMA. It doesn't exist. They tried it a little bit in the early days. They sent some UFC fighters over to Japan to fight for Pride, and they brought some Pride fighters over into the UFC, but they don't do that anymore. That was the early days, because the sport wasn't big back then. They were just trying to get big names, and they were trying to work a promotional deal, but Japanese, man, they're clever.